So, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Susan.
Thank you very much, Jen. How are you?
I am great. And I just have to say, I loved our conversation before this podcast. And listeners, you guys are in for a treat because we are talking about chakras. And I know that a lot of you in the audience love chakras, but not in the way that you think you know chakras. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, I've been working with chakras for 40 years. That's so long. I can't even believe it. And do you know, I still learn something about them every single day. The chakra system is fascinating to me. I view it as the life force viewed through a prism. And that's how you see the colors of the chakras. But most people, when they think of chakras, Jen, think of, solid colored hockey pucks that live against the spine. And that's not what they are. First of all, chakras are three-dimensional and they're round, they're spheres of energy, right? And that color, and they move and the colors vary. And so yes, you have a red chakra, sort of cherry red at the bottom of your spine, and the next one is pumpkin orange, but it's not a red dot and an orange dot and a yellow dot, because the most important thing about chakras, and I don't know anybody who teaches it this way, is that they talk to each other, right? I mean, it's all well and good to have a red chakra, but if it's just hanging out there disconnected from everything else, that's a problem. Right?
Huge problem.
Right. So what you want is, I say this to people all the time. If I played middle C for you and said, this is music, you would say to me, no, it's not. It's a note. Right. Well, that's a chakra. The point is that another note makes it music, and one after that makes it music. And you keep building and it's a melody. The chakras are a melody in the body. They're an energetic melody. And we can learn, I believe, as a serious act of self-love to go along with your tsunami, which I think is a really good idea, to pay attention to our own chakras, to work with them. And they are, as far as I'm concerned, the basis of self-care. Self-care doesn't need a fancy journal or yummy bath salts, although those things are nice. Don't misunderstand me, right? But you can do chakra work on the bus. You can do chakra work sitting in a parking lot. You can do chakra work in a meeting where you're bored. You can do chakra work whenever you like. And it takes no teacher, no mat, no book. It takes your attention. And that's all. Now, if you can hold still and learn to pay attention to the messages from your body, you can actually use your chakras to help you take care of yourself in a better way than almost anything, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, haven't you been in a situation where you walked into a room and you have just known that there have been people arguing? Right. You walk in the room, you go, oh, I don't want to be in here. No, thank you. Right. Well, what is that? That's energy. And people love to talk about it. Oh, well, the energy is not very good. Oh, the vibe is great. The energy is good, right? What is that? What is that? Well, what it really is electricity. It's frequency, and it's light that we experience in ourselves. And that light belongs to everybody. And if we'll learn how to pay attention to it, we can make significant changes. The thing about chakra work that I think is absolutely amazing is that if you take the time to do it, and it does take time, chakra work's not fast. It's just not. It is, however, permanent, right? So if I walked into the Waldorf Astoria Grand Ballroom in New York City, which is about 100 miles from where I am right now, and 100 of your listeners were in the room, and every single person in the room wanted the same thing. They all wanted to lose 5 pounds. I think that humans are the only reason that I have stayed this interested in this for this long. every single one of those 100 people would have it wired differently in their chakra system as to why. I want to lose 5 pounds because the reunion's coming. I want to lose 5 pounds because the wedding's coming. I want to lose 5 pounds because I'll feel better. Blah, 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 whatever. And to find out what your reasoning is and what's blocking you usually means you can get unblocked and it's permanent. That's the thing about chakra work. It's for keeps.
Yeah.
Unlike therapy. Nothing wrong with therapy. I've been a counselor for 40 years. However, traditional therapy is based on the notion that if you can understand something, you can change it. Bunk. Not true. I'm smart. I can understand anything you explain to me at my own level. I mean, if an astrophysicist decided to tell me how to build a NASA rocket, I probably would have a hard time, but I could get it in the moment, right? Could I build a NASA rocket? No. I could understand how you would do it, right? So when I heard about your podcast, Feed Your Business with Love, every single person I've told I'm going to be on this podcast, they all got a big grin on their face, right? Really? Yeah. Yeah. Your business and your body and your being and the whole world, feed it all with love, because that's exactly what we need right now. Thanks. A little more. Right. And not just from you, from all of us.
Right.
It's terrific advice. Feed your business with love. Right. Simple, clear advice. That's what chakras give you. Simple, clear advice. So they're meant to hold your memories. So your chakras really are your mind as opposed to your brain. Right? You have a brain in your cranium, but that's an organ. That's a mechanical thing, right? It's like having a radius or an ulna. But your brain doesn't do what your mind does. And I mean, think about it. They say this all the time. You have control over 10% of your mind, right? 10%. Right? On a really good day. Right? And you're very, very grateful, or I am, that I'm not in charge of the other 90% of mine, because something is making bone marrow and growing my eyelashes right now. And I haven't thought about it once, not since I said hello to Jenn. Right? I don't have to, because of autonomic systems. But what that means is that there's 90% of what happens to us, for us, around us, by us, through us, that we don't think about. We don't have conscious brain time with. So to get conscious and to wake up to what's causing, for example, here's one, right? This happens to a lot of people who have work that they don't like. Sunday night, third chakra dread, right? Sinking stomach. I have to go to work tomorrow. Listen to the language. Have to. Right? Have to go to work tomorrow. And you feel crummy. Well, how do you fix that? There's absolutely a way to fix it, and it does not just include self-talk. Right? I'm not asking you to go rah-rah positive thinking cheerleader on yourself. Nope. Because positive thinking is lovely. I have no problem with it. I think it's a good idea. I think we spend way too much time based on free won't, which is what we don't want, rather than free will, which is what we do want. Right? In fact, most people live based on free won't. Right? I just don't want them to feel this way. Really? What do you want them to feel? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's a thought. Because human beings don't not do things very well. Whatever you do, don't think about the Statue of Liberty. How fast? Right? Okay, now don't think about the Statue of Liberty in a tutu. Blink it, blink it, blink it. But she's like in the top of a jewelry box for a little girl, right? I could do with green elephants. I mean, anything you like, they're appearing in your brain right now. So what you don't want magnetizes what you don't want to you. I don't want to feel crummy on my way to work on Mondays. Okay. So let's do the first positive thinking thing, right? I get to go to work on Monday. Get to. Somebody doesn't get to go to your job because it's not theirs, it's yours. That's just a statement of fact, right? Think of what that will do to your body. Get to. What do you think about when you get to do something, right? Oh, I get to go out this weekend and have a really good time, right? Oh, there's energy behind that there is not with have to. And have to is, the laundry and the taxes and the, like, make the list, right? I'm not saying that you only ever get to do the things that you like that are fun. Every job has its own dark side, right? Okay, right? I mean, dry clothes are sometimes wrinkled clothes. It means you have to iron. Or you don't. You just wear them wrinkled and you don't care, right? Right. But even so, it's attitude adjustment. All right, what is the resistance in your third chakra? Right. Well, first of all, the third chakra is egg yolk yellow, bright yellow, right? And it's where you hold your power. It is the chakra that more women have trouble with than anyone else, right? Because women in power, oh no, power, we don't do power. We don't do power because the way power has been done for all these years is power over, not power with, right?
Yeah.
I listen to episodes of your podcast. It's all about power with, right? Power with one another, empowering one another. Like, oh, I see, right? Power with. So already we know that how we think about power might be a little skewed. Okay, I guess. But then how do I get enough power, enough steam, enough oomph to go to work and not have that dread in my stomach? Well, what am I really dreading? What am I really dreading? Stop. What is this chakra saying to me? This chakra is saying, I don't like the person I share my office space with. It's not my job I don't like. It's not my work I don't like. But what we do in the name of shorthand is we take a broad brush and we go, ugh, I don't want to go to work. Wait, it's worth parsing out what you really don't want, right? That's where you do it, is in the chakras, because your chakras will tell you every single time, and they will speak quietly. You will get an image in your mind. You'll get a voice in your head. Yes, I hear voices. It's okay. I'm used to it. You'll get an idea. You'll go, oh, I know. What I really don't like is that she talks so loud. So I need to make a strategy for that because it interrupts my concentration and I do too much creative work at work to have my concentration interrupted. What do I need? Do I need headphones? Do I need white noise? What would care for me and care for her too? Because you can't care for me and not care for us, right? Because it's not me or, it's me and, right? You might find out that that person is hard of hearing and doesn't even know they're talking loud, right? You could have a magic signal, pull on your earlobe, bring the volume down. You could help that person in her job, right? Because you took the time to find out what was really going on, right? What's really there.
Wow. I'm like, there's so much to that. And that's really the power of getting present and asking and listening, taking the time to listen. So many times, like you said, the energy system, our bodies are screaming at us. These triggers are screaming at us, but we ignore them.
In the name of making nice, in the name of not making anybody uncomfortable, in the name of protecting our own victimhood.
Ooh.
There are a lot of people these days who are leading with their victimhood. They say, you know, Jen, this is my trigger and you need to know about it. Why? Why do you need to know about my trigger? I need to know about my trigger so that I know what to do about it. That's not your responsibility. That's mine. Even if I tell you that's not your responsibility. I mean, unless you're my partner, then of course it's your responsibility to make sure I'm okay. But even so, like, wait, nobody else can tune into your chakras but you. That's one of the things people ask me all the time. If I learn how to do chakra work, can I work on other people? Because like you have yoga people and you have massage people and that kind of stuff. Yes, and not immediately. No. I tell people this all the time. Got to learn your own. Got to know what your own system is doing. I've had a chronic disease for 35 years. And it sources in my third chakra. And as a result, I have extra sensitivity in that chakra. I am aware that it came from feeling disempowered as a child. I get it. My brain wraps around it. It's not stopping, though. And so when I look at somebody else's third chakra, I make sure mine is out of the way. Right? I've been working with people's chakra systems for 40 years, and there are things I learn every day. I had someone come into me a long time ago. She was dizzy. She couldn't figure out why she was dizzy. And she was dizzy all the time. 2 years earlier, she'd been in a throw her out of a convertible car accident, head over heels, out of the top. She was driving onto the hood of the car. And she couldn't walk through a door without hitting her shoulder. That's how dizzy she was all the time. And I looked at her and I thought, wow, this is so weird. I said, you know what? Her name was Jane. I said, Jane, your aura is upside down. No wonder you can't navigate. Your feet are by your ears. And your head is banging on the sidewalk. It took me 6 weeks to get it right side up. Because it couldn't be done fast. Right? Her whole system would have gone crazy. To turn her really slowly and gently. Which is why you have to be responsible for your own chakra system first, your own energy system first. It's that whole airline thing, put your own mask on first. Put your own mask on first for real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's with everything, I believe, is, it's a disservice, but there are so many people that run out into this realm of helping others. And they are like, oh, we made it one step in our journey, so we're going to start teaching it. It's like, wait. Take a couple more steps before you turn back and reach for someone else. Because if not, they're going to be right on your heels. And it doesn't work. And I think that what you're saying by turning in, managing your own system first is the most important thing in life and business and partnerships and anything that we do as these human beings.
Well, if you're not going to be responsible for you, I would like to know who is. Right? And if you're not the center of the known universe, you are the center of your own universe. And if you are not the center of your own universe, who is? And why? And it's no wonder we have trouble looking after ourselves. Do you know who Mary Kay Ash was?
I've heard of, yes.
Yeah, she founded Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yeah.
Nobody ever knows she had a last name, but she did. And she used to say to her associates, there are 4 priorities in life. If you get them out of order, it's only a matter of time before you're in trouble. God, self, family, work. Argue with me about God another day. divinity, self, family, work, right? Well, how many women do you know who even have self on that list?
Not many.
If they're moms, they definitely don't, right? Well, wait, if okay, if you're not on your list, you're not on anybody's list. Oopsie, that's a problem, right? So yes, by all means, share your chakra journey with people. Talk with them about what you're discovering in yourself. My goodness, the things that are encoded, because I really think that the chakras function as the subconscious mind on a psycho-spiritual level. So psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the chakras are remembering everything that's ever happened to you. Right? So, whoa, you don't, I mean, here's a silly one, right? I had a girlfriend once who took me out for dinner with an ex of hers. And halfway through dinner, my then girlfriend said, "How's your dinner, sweetie?" And the two of us, me and her ex, said, "Fine, thanks," at the same time. It was awful. I was 19. Her name was Maureen. I've never liked a woman named Maureen since. Now, that is so completely absurd that we can laugh about it, right? Come on, I
Yeah.
have met other Maureens. There are very nice Maureens in the world. Don't be ridiculous. I could get over Maureen. But what happens if it's not as benign as that? What happens if it's not as lighthearted as that? What happens if it's actually something that damaged you and you meet a person named that and your heart goes sink into the basement? What do you do, right? You learn how to protect yourself, and not protect yourself in terms of become resistant, because Statue of Liberty, right? What you resist persists, right? No. Which is why I say to people, when you're protecting yourself psychically, don't use white light. White light is for emergencies. White light is for 9/11. Picture a rainbow, like a barber pole, swirling up, right? Make it big enough, get in. What you want is you want a barrier of energy between you and other people so that they don't take from your personal energy, right? It's the principle of Aikido, right? An Aikido master is attacked by person Peach, and the Aikido master deals with person Peach. But in the middle of that, if person Plum comes along, the Aikido master doesn't go from Peach to Plum. The Aikido master goes, finish Peach, return to master, address Plum. If you don't, you leave 20% of yourself with Peach. Well, do the math. 5 people later, you got 0. 5 people. How many people do you interact with in the course of a day? 5 people. And you leave 20% of yourself with each one. That's why it's so important that we handle our energy leaks, right? And energy leaks, it sounds so, woo. It's not woo. Energy leaks usually are because of something we've said or something we've not said, right? In the Hebrew Bible, it says the power of life and death is in the tongue. Pretty much, right? So somebody says, we should go to lunch. And you go, yeah, we should. How about never? But you don't say the how about never part, right? You say the yeah, we should. And you've left an energy hook in the universe. How do you tell the truth, not hurt other people, manage those sorts of things? Now, that's a relatively benign one, right? What happens if you're having a crazy affair on your spouse and you're lying and you're energetically all over the place? You think that the person doesn't know, right? You think that your children don't know when you're angry? Of course, your children know when you're angry. They act out when you're angry. Hello? Energy tells,
Yes.
which is why it behooves all of us to get responsible for it. right? Most energy leaks have to do with things we say or don't say. So, okay, start to think, start to notice, what am I saying? Do I leave things hanging because I'm afraid to say no? Do I say yes when I need to say no? Do I say yes when I want to say no? Do I ever say no? Someone might not like me if I say no. Yeah, that's okay. That's on them, right? Uh, no is a whole sentence. No, I'd rather stay home and read a book, right? I'd rather stay home and read a book. No, I don't really like to go to horror movies. They scare the bejesus out of me, and then I dream about them for 5 nights running. No, thanks. Right? Well, but that's telling the truth, but kindly, right? The person who says, let's go to lunch, and you go, you know what? Maybe, but you got to give me 6 months. I'm on this project and I'm up past my eyebrows in work, right? I need to say no for now, right? No for now. That's not, or no, not yet, right? But we have to learn how to use right speech, as the Buddha would say, right? And manage our own truth, right? That's not selfish, right? What's selfish is when you say yes and you go to lunch and you resent the entire time, right?
Oh yeah.
Because you're not feeling good. You're not, the other person knows something's weird, right? I don't know. We used to be really close friends. I don't get what, you know, I don't understand what happened. I mean, you've been in that situation. I've been in that situation. Like, wait, what? What just, oh, well. And then you chalk it up, and it's because the power of life and death is in the tongue, right?
Wow.
I would like to give your listeners a gift and ask you to put this in the show notes if you would. Um, I created a system, a fast and dirty, learn how to work with your chakra system immediately. And I call them the less mores.
Oh.
Like this, something to do less and something to do more, right? So let's say that you were getting a tickle in your throat, right? That's your 5th chakra. It's turquoise. It's about communication, right? So the less is criticize less, and the more is celebrate more, right?
Oh.
Both of those things can be internal for yourself or external for people you supervise or clients, right? Or it can go rah. You can do both things, right? But it gives you something to do immediately about that tickle in your throat. Wait a minute. You start to ask yourself, have I been really critical lately? Geez, I maybe made somebody feel bad the other day about their presentation. Maybe I'll go check on that, right? Were you cool when I was giving you feedback the other day? If I hurt your feelings, I'm really sorry. Do you have any idea how far that kind of stuff goes? Just playing it back and thinking, oh, I need a redo here. Hi, I think I was a little hard on you in the presentation the other day in front of our boss. And I didn't really praise you enough because you did a really good job. So I'm going to make sure I tell the boss, and I'm telling you now. Right? Oh, wow. She took the time. Cool. That's awesome. Right? So the chakra less mores can be had for free. And I mean for free. You don't have to put your email address in to earn them, right? At chakras.susancorso.com, which I'm sure I'll ask Jen. She'll put in the show notes, right?
Yes, I will.
And you can get one of 2 digital downloads, and you can get them one of 2 because I'm a Libra and I couldn't make up my mind. I thought they were both pretty. So whichever works for you. The less mores. So you could actually, like, if you're listening to this and you know that you're having trouble in your 3rd chakra, you could start to work with it right now. Right now. this second, is there something I need to do less? Is there something I need to do more? Right? Third chakra is controlling versus encouraging.
Ooh.
Right? And there's one for each of the eight chakras. So you may get the less more. A second screen will come up that says, if you'd like to know more about Dr. Susan Corso's chakra work, put your email address in here. You may join a mailing list if you like, but you don't have to earn the free gift. It's one of the things that makes me craziest about the interwebs. Don't manipulate me with something free and then have it cost me. Thank you very much.
Ooh, that is a huge lesson. I love that way of thinking. And I've heard it once before on this podcast. There was a person that did it with their coaching packages. They're like, come in, you like it, you pay for it. And I was like, how did that work for you? She's like, actually, my income 10x'd in a month. And I was like, but you didn't charge them to come in. And she's like, I didn't. But they gave so much value. And it's the same, that just hits like, okay, universe, I've got the message. I know it needs to change.
It took me a really long time to understand that. Actually, a very wise marketing wizard said, if it doesn't cost you anything, you're the product. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought, listen, a free gift is a free gift. And if it's not free, then why should I pay for it? That's annoying. I'm not doing that. I'm not signing up for things that I then have to unsubscribe from, because what I really wanted was the white paper, right? If you're going to give it to me, then just give it to me. That was an ethics thing for me. And we were talking about social media before this, and I have respectfully and gently opted out of much of social media, because it's not real, right? And, Jen and I got on Zoom today, and there was immediate connection, and we just started to chat like we chatted every day. Well, we're interested in the same kinds of things: business, women, entrepreneurs, spirituality. Okay, we got it going on, no problem, right? But she's not my Facebook friend. She's actually a new friend, brand new, but it's because we connected, not because she's a Facebook friend. There's a reason they're called Facebook friends, dear ones. I said this to Jen. My idea of a real friend is someone who will raise the State Department to get me out of jail if I'm stuck in Lima, Peru. There are 6 people in my life who would do that. I call that a crowd. And I'm thrilled, right? So are there any questions I can answer for you about chakras, or any special, anything you want me to think about or cover?
There's so many things here, and there's so much that has to do with energy. And I know that there's a relation, because I know of the body keep score, because I know that your body holds on to things. I want to know, in relation to the body keeping score and your chakra system keeping score, what are some screaming signs that are showing up in our lives if we're not tuned into that chakra system, where the body might be screaming at us saying hey, you gotta back down. It's time to go hang out with Dr. Susan and figure out what the heck the chakra thing is and how to balance it out.
Well, let's talk about infertility, right? That's a second chakra issue, right? Do you have washboard abs? Because if I was a little ovum meeting my little sperm for the first moment, I would like a soft place to sit, not concrete. Let's just start with that. Endometriosis, an unbelievable epidemic of fibroids, right? Let's talk about food allergies and the purity thing. I have to eat clean. Do you eat dirty otherwise? Is Dairy Queen dirty? Sign me up. Like, wait a minute. How are you thinking about it? Right? It's where the body does keep the score. And I have read that book. And it's an extraordinary story about a doctor who is helping people with trauma and won't do it without taking all of the techniques that he is using on other people and doing it on himself first. Oh my God, some of those stories made my eyeballs about fall out of my face. So that's an amazing book, The Body Keeps the Score. The other one is The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. And she's incredible. That's a sentence that she said to a friend of hers who was disabled. The body is not an apology, right? No, the body is your first line of defense, right? So yeah, it's the bodily symptoms. It's the person who says, oh, I always, the school teacher, I had a school teacher say this to me last week. I always am sick by Halloween. I said to her, do you have to get sick? Well, I always do get sick. I've been teaching for 23 years. I said, maybe you should take always out of that sentence. Do you have to get sick by Halloween? Well, by Halloween, I'm exhausted and I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm, my goodness, program yourself right into an early grave. And you know what? I have another client, typical, same thing. She works too hard. She's a mom of 2 kids, married, full-time job. And every 9 months, like a clock, she hurts herself. She sprains an ankle. She needs hip surgery. She breaks her wrist. I go, your skeleton is really at risk here. What is going on? Well, here's what's going on. She needs some of the people in her family to take some responsibility for the emotional labor, not just the tasks, right? She can say, honey, do the laundry, and her husband will do the laundry. The point isn't that. The point is that he doesn't think of doing the laundry. So she's thinking of doing the laundry, and is there soap, and is there bounce, and did I pay the electric bill, and blah blah blah, that whole, and he hears do the laundry, right? No, do the laundry has all that attached to it, and it's automatic. So the chakra system is very similar. So for example, if you have sciatica, which is in your hip, it'll be left or right. It's horrible. It's painful. Left or right side, right? The first thing I would say to you is, okay, don't work with your second chakra. Do not. Because if you were in an emergency room and somebody brought a gunshot wound in, would you poke it? You wouldn't. Come on. Gee, does that hurt? Ow. No, you would work with the energy around it. Right? So, okay, what's going on in that person's first chakra? Number 1. Number 2, what's going on in that person's third chakra? Because the second chakra is where sciatica is seated, if you will. And the other thing I would say is, what's going on in your jaw? Because your jaw and your hips move the same way. Think about your body. It's mirrors everywhere, right? Your hands and feet are mirrors of each other. Your feet are mirrors of each other, right? You have 2 arms, 2 legs, right? 2 eyes, 1 nose, right? 1 mouth. Okay. Or 2, you could argue the beginning of the alimentary canal and the end, right? Same. Okay. So there are mirrors. Pay attention to that. A lot of times sciatica is somebody who's really angry. What they're doing is they're putting their foot down. right? I am putting my foot down. If it's on the right-hand side of your body, that's the masculine side, dynamic side of your body, the active side of your body. Is there something you didn't do that you wished you'd done? Or is there something you did that you wished you hadn't done? Right? On the left side of your body, it's the feminine side or the yielding side, the yin side, the receiving side. So what does that mean? That means, is there something I need that I'm not asking for? What do I need? Do I need a break? Do I need to stop going to spin class and freaking the hell out of my hips in the name of size 4? Maybe I need to take a break. Maybe I need to do yoga. Maybe I need to find someone who can help me with pelvic floor exercises. That can also be hugely helpful with sciatica in a female person, right? Or is it constipation? Is it diarrhea? Is it candida? Is it, systemic? That's the thing I think that worries me the most about sort of the medical things that are going on all the time now, is that people are diagnosed with such systemic illnesses, right? Oh, you have fibromyalgia, you have Epstein-Barr, you have irritable bowel. That's local, but it's kind of not local, because if your gut's not right, none of the rest of you, so, and that old gospel song, right? The shin bone's connected to the knee bone, dear. It really is. Every bit is connected to every other bit, right? So what you think is sciatica, and Western medicine and our educational system has taught us to divide and conquer, right? So this is about, as we say, the leg. The leg. I always want to say, what? The one you keep in the front hall? The leg. That's your leg, isn't it? And if it isn't, whose is it? Right? So I say, okay, my leg, right? What is your leg and your hip trying to tell you? Right? Messages from the body. They come all the time, right? Allergies are rampant. My husband sneezes so hard that he could bust the buttons on his shirts. It's crazy. What's going on? Well, several things. The food that we eat is no longer grown in ground that has the same kind of nutrients that it did, certainly when I was a kid. So a carrot is not a carrot, even if it's an organic carrot, because it's still growing in depleted soil.
Yep.
Right? So instead of getting upset about that and having to eat pure and getting crazy, you go, okay, what do I need? What nutrients do I actually need? Right? Most often people need much more of a balance in the things that they're eating than what they're eating. Oh no, I have salad every day. Time to eat a hamburger. And I don't, be a vegetarian, fine. Be a vegan, fine. But then learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So that all of the things in your body get what they need. I have a client who is an artist who very nearly went blind because she went on an uneducated vegetarian craze in college, actually, and almost lost her eyesight because she wasn't getting the right amino acids.
Wow.
Right. Fortunately, a doctor who was smart enough caught it and said, you don't need to eat meat, honey, but you got to get educated.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out how to food combine. You got to learn. Most of us need to eat much more fat than we eat.
Mm-hmm.
And good fat, not bad fat. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about potato chips. Although eat potato chips.
I'm like, I like potato chips.
I do too, but eat
on occasion.
Right. Don't live on potato chips. Right. It's a balance of things. Your whole body is based on balance. So pay attention to what it needs, what she needs, or he needs, or they need in order to feel good. Because I honestly believe that we were sent here to feel good, to do good, to feel good, to have good. Right? I don't think we were sent here to do hard things. I think we were sent here to do what's easy for us. Right?
Oh.
That's called your talent. Right? The thing that's easiest for you, that's what you should do. Right? Me, I'm a writer. I've written 30 books.
That's
I wrote
amazing.
well, it's very cool. I love doing it, but I've been writing since I was a kid. I mean, I have the first essay I ever wrote. I guess I was 8. It begins.
Fairies, right? That
I
was the
like
one
to
with
think
the fairies,
that's
right?
right. I like to think about fairies and witches. That's the first sentence. I love that. Now I call it writing fiction. It's the same thing, though. It's not about fairies and witches, but it's about, I mean, my fiction is about metaphysical people who live in a way to be conscious about themselves and their lives, right? Mary Engelbreit, the illustrator, the wonderful whimsical illustrator, writes this amazing thing about how her life was a series of crushing disappointments by the time she was 5 or 6, because she realized she wasn't going to be able to marry Perry Como because he would be too old when she got old. So she said, what I finally decided to do, that the thing to do was to draw the world the way I wanted it to be. And that's what she does. That's her profession, right? I write the world I want to be. I write about the kind of people I want to know. I write about people who have loyalty to one another. I write about people who do the right thing. I write about people who lie and pay the consequences of it. I write about real things. And I mean, I write mysteries, I write romances, I write historical fiction. But I got into talking about chakras because I wrote these 8 workbooks. And the workbooks are physical books that you write in with an analog pen. You can't do them digitally, you can't buy them digitally. And it's to get to know what's in your chakras. And the chakra, and they're organized based on past, present, and future. So you look at chakra memory, your chakra the way it is now, and then you start to program how you want it to be.
Ooh.
Right? So let's say you had a crummy romantic relationship, and you have a bad taste in your mouth about partnerships right now, right? Well, that's the past. That's not happening anymore. So what do you do about the bad taste in your mouth that's now in your heart chakra, in your personal heart chakra, which is emerald green? Well, you change your mind. You change your chakra. You go, I'm open to love again. I'm willing to love again. I am trusting myself to choose the right person. And so you begin to turn, but it's not like you're in a canoe and you're turning by pulling one oar and the thing's turned. It's like turning the QE2. The process can be a bitch, but once you've turned, you're turned, right? Right. Well, that's what slow, real, permanent growth is. And that's what the chakra workbooks were designed to do. The book description says, if you want more passion, start with the second chakra. If you want more power, start with the third chakra. If you want to be a better communicator, start with the 5th chakra. So it doesn't really matter where you start, because there are 8 major ones from the bottom of your spine to the 8th one, which is so cool. It's rosy pink. It's about 6 inches in front of your thymus gland, which is in the center of your sternum. And your thymus gland is in charge of your immunity, right? Most of us only know about that because of HIV/AIDS and what the tests measure, T cells, right? Well, the 8th chakra is for spiritual, emotional, and psychological immunity. right? So when you can't forgive that person who broke your heart and it's stuck in your fourth chakra, you gather that all up like it's a really, really thick, icky dust bunny under a bed that you haven't cleaned under in 20 years, right? Gather it all up. You make a big thing of dust bunny and then put it in your eighth chakra, because your eighth chakra is compassion. It's spiritual love. You don't have to forgive them personally. Why? Just so long as it doesn't hurt you anymore, right? Forgiveness, the most selfish spiritual act there is. Because if I forgive you, I'm the one that's not hurting anymore, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
Most necessary. So all this by way of, particularly with energy workers and with entrepreneurs, paying attention to your own like EQ, energy quotient. I just made that up, right? Become a chakra detective. I'm teaching this class at an Omnifaith seminary. I will give Jen the information on the 22nd of September. It's free, on how to be a chakra detective. And that's what I look at it as. You want to be the very best Sherlock Holmes you can on your own chakras, right? And you're the person who is best suited to being that expert. And yes, you can learn to read other people's chakras, and you can learn to balance chakras. You can learn to do all that kind of stuff. I do train people sometimes, but more than anything, what I'm interested in is every single person on planet Earth who has an energy system, which means if you're alive, you have an energy system, to know about it. I think this should be taught like toothbrushing. It's hygiene, but it's hygiene for the spirit and the soul. You take a shower and you wash your hair, right? Well, okay, time to clear up the chakras. What's going on? What's going on? And what you want is you want them all to be able to dance with one another, right? So that you feel good, even if, even though I've had a chronic disease for 35 years, I feel good most of the time. I have energy, I have it managed, I deal with it. There are times when I get blue about it and stamp my feet and throw a temper tantrum, and my husband goes, okay, did you get it out this time? Which is so great, right? I love that about him, right? Oh, okay, time for another tantrum? Good. Totally cool with it. But that doesn't run my life.
Yeah.
Ugh. No. Joy, peace, fun, happiness, appreciation, celebration. I read somewhere a woman talking about her own bodies. She says, I am a fiesta. Like, let me be a fiesta. Doesn't that sound good? I'll be a fiesta. Are you in?
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm all
Everyone
in.
should be a fiesta. There we go. Let's be a fiesta from now on. And that's what knowing the chakra system will do for you.
Oh, that is so juicy. So juicy. So if someone were to walk away with like that one thing that you wanted to, I'm calling them my heart nuggets now. Like, what is that heart nugget that you want someone to take away that they carry with them the rest of their life?
Your imagination is your salvation. We like to think of imagination as frivolous. It's false. Au contraire, mes amis. And I'll tell you why. If you can't imagine after having a broken heart, or a broken foot for that matter, that you could love again, or that you could walk again, you won't.